Police authorities identify and arrest killer cop in Ibadan. Troops neutralize 16 Boko Haram terrorists in Borno. Workers in Lagos lament soaring transportation costs. And on the foreign scene, Trump threatens 50% tariff on EU from June 1st. Hello, welcome to Trust News Update. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you so much for joining. And now the news. The Oyo State Police Command has arrested the officer who killed a 14-year-old Paul Kehinde Alade in Ibadan. Police Commissioner Johnson Adenola confirmed the arrest, vowing to ensure justice is served. The report.
The Oyo State Police Command is holding an interactive session with government officials and traffic management agency officials to brief the press on the next steps following the tragic death of 14-year-old Paul Kehinde Alade. The police therefore commanded the arrest of the officer involved.
On our part, we have picked up the officer who fired that gunshot. As I talk to you, he is currently in custody. He is being investigated by the Deputy Commissioner of Police, State Department of Investigation, Yagonku, and together with members of his team, we are assisting the investigation. The investigation has progressed. In actual fact, I have an interim report here, but that report will not be holistic until we eventually obtain the testimony of Odunayo Alade, the driver, incidentally the father of this young man. So that is one part of it we are trying to do, to make it all inclusive, because it would be unfair for us to write a report without hearing from a principal actor in the saga, as you have seen.
The meeting also had in attendance representatives of the state government who have promised to reinforce its determination to ensure justice for the young Nigerian whose life was cut short. They also engaged the police to regularly train and engage its officers on gun handling and civil public relations, with a promise to placate the grieving family, loved ones, and siblings to the deceased, while frowning against disinformation and distortion of facts.
My presence here, together with the executive chairman of OITMA, is to reinforce the determination of the state government that justice will be done, and that we will do everything possible as a responsible government to placate, to commiserate, and to empathize with the bereaved family.
Chairman of the Oyo State Road Traffic Maintenance Authority lamented the alarming rise in traffic offences and constant harassment and assaults on its officers, while requesting security backups for operations. He gives detail of the past activities of Odunayo's father and the need to ensure justice.
We require security backup for our operations because we had people who are permanently disabled because of instance of assault. The very particular of Mr. Odunayo Alade, he was apprehended for failure to park at designated motor park.
Stakeholders here say they would design viable frameworks towards ensuring that roads are safer, motorable, thereby preventing reckless traffic offenders from evading the law.
Now, 16 Boko Haram terrorists have been killed by troops of the Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkaya as they attempted to infiltrate the 25 Task Force Brigade headquarters in Damboa near Sambisa Forest. The troops of the Task Force Brigade, along with members of the civilian Joint Task Force, also recovered weapons and IED making materials in the operations. The attack happened at about 1 a.m. on Friday when troops sighted a group of terrorists and immediately engaged them with sustained indirect fire. After approximately 2 hours of intense engagement, the terrorists were forced to retreat. Several of the terrorists escaped with varying degrees of injuries, while 16 of them were successfully neutralized. Confirming the incident, the spokesperson of Northeast Joint Task Force Operation Hadinkai, Captain Ruben Kovangia, said the success was aimed aided by the timely intervention of the air component of the Joint Task Force. Captain Ruben also stated that troops have intensified offensive on the terrorists into the forest with the hopes of neutralizing more terrorists. And now, Justice S.M. Shuaibu of the Federal High Court, Kano, has refused to grant an order restraining the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, from investigating a suspected shoddy land deal between incorporated trustees of Musabaka Association and Nata Allah Properties and Investment Limited owned by Tijani Sule Garu. The judge held that the suit filed by the applicant lacked merit and the reliefs sought are therefore refused. The plot, about 2 hectares in size on the choice location of Ahmadu Bello Way, was awarded to the trustees of Musabaka Association by the late military governor of Kano State, Colonel Abdullahi Wase, to build a befitting complex for the annual competition, but 38 residential buildings were erected instead to the charging of other members of the association. The applicant had filed a fundamental right enforcement suit pursuant to Section 34, 35, and 41, and also 41 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and Articles 4, 5, 6, and 12 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, seeking a declaration against continuous invitation, harassment, and intimidation, and threats of arrest by the EFCC. Human rights activists have warned against incessant attacks on rights of freedom of expression of Nigerians. Many Nigerians in recent times have been threatened with arrest and detention for expressing critical opinions online. A case in point is the ongoing unlawful detention and persecution of Hamdiya Sharif, a vocal social commentator and advocate for good governance in Sokoto State. Noel Sampson has the report.
Freedom of speech is a cornerstone of a democratic society and a fundamental human right, ensuring the free exchange of ideas while participating in public discourse. It allows individuals to express their opinions, access information, and hold those in power accountable. It is against this backdrop that civil society groups are calling authorities to properly investigate the alleged arrest and detention of a social media commentator, Hamdiya Sharif, to ensure that justice is served.
The update we got was that, of course, this lady was kidnapped in Sokoto and taken to Zamfara. She was kidnapped, she was riding Keke Napep, and she was kidnapped from Sokoto to Zamfara, and we got to know that she was injected and abandoned somewhere, and some people saw her and rushed her to hospital. Then from the hospital, we understand that she is now being again under arrest by Zamfara State's Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner of Police is now under pressure from the Commissioner of Police in Sokoto to release this girl to Sokoto. We believe that if they take her to Sokoto, they are likely going to kill her. So that's why we are calling on IG to urgently and immediately intervene.
Everybody should be on top of this issue, because at the end of the day, if anything untoward happen in this situation, is the name of the country that is going to be at put at a reputational risk. So in such situation, everybody's hands should be on deck to ensure that this young lady is freed, and also increasingly we need freedom of speech and freedom of association.
This legal practitioner called for proper interpretation and application of the amended Cybercrime Act of 2024 to avoid abuse by some overzealous security personnel.
Well, first of all, it is very important to know that she is not being charged under the Cybercrimes Act of 2024. She is being charged under the penal code laws of the northern states of Nigeria, and particularly the ones domesticated in Sokoto State. However, what she said was just a mere legitimate expression of her concerns and the concerns of her people. It was a constitutional it was an exercise of our constitutional right. And the Cyber Crimes Act, especially Section 24, is clear. It only has to do with extortion, threat to life, maybe breakdown of public order. And I think that even common sense would tell you that that video would not and did not have any effect. And frankly, it's a frivolous charge. It's trumped up, and it's just an attempt to silence dissent. I think they're just trying to use her as an example, and it's very, very unfortunate. What is more unfortunate is what is even happening to her extrajudicially. That is, I think this is the second time that she has been kidnapped so far. One time she was kidnapped and beaten. She's kidnapped again, and she was found out in a different state. Now she's in the hospital. It's just really, really troubling, and I think Nigerians should really rise up to this, because if they successfully, defeat her either mentally or physically or even fatally, then our freedom of expression goes with it as well.
Governments at all levels are therefore advised to uphold freedom of speech while accommodating constructive criticism from citizens. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration will start taking possession of 4,794 properties from Monday next week. These properties were revoked due to non-payment of ground rent spanning between 10 and 43 years. This was announced during a press briefing by the Senior Special Assistant on Public Communications and Social Media to the FCT Minister, Lere Olayinka, the Director of Land Administration, Chijoke Nwankweze, and the Director of the Department of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima. They emphasized that the action is in full compliance with the existing laws and regulations governing land administration.
Therefore, as from Monday, May 26, 2025, the FCTA will begin to take possession of the affected properties using relevant agencies of the government. As usual, this will be done without consideration as to ownership of the affected properties. It will be purely in line with the extant laws and regulations guiding the process. Recall too that a grace of 21 days was given to title holders that were in default of payment of ground rent for between 1 and 10 years to pay up or have their land title revoked.
A total of 6,967,980,119 naira was being owed by 8,375 property owners as of March 2025.
Now the owner of the property say seal the premises for me. So no more utilization by any other person. Whoever does that is considered as a trespasser. So it is the owner of the property say seal the premises for me. That's all. So sealing and taking possession is as good as the same thing in this context.
Pupils said to be students of Unity Model School Delta, Asaba Delta State, were reportedly forced to sit for one of their WAEC exam late in the evening, and they had to leave torchlight since the school was without a power supply. According to a video circulating online, the students in the exam halls were recorded by an unknown woman. In the video, the woman is heard condemning the officials for putting the students through such. The woman claimed that the exams were supposed to be held by 2 p.m., but the officials only brought the exam papers by 6 p.m.
They are using torchlight to write WAEC. Even during my time of lantern, we not use torchlight write WAEC. The Unity Model School Asaba, state capital, not in a village, live and direct. WAEC must write exam by night. What's the name of this paper? People are still writing. See them now with WAEC calculator, writing by night. After they will say Tinubu is bad. This is wicked.
The Inspector General of Police, Kaide Betoko, has called on schools, parents and community leaders to work in synergy with law enforcement agencies to ensure safety in schools. The IGP made the call on Thursday in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, while delivering